We're looking at the deep and honestly kind of uncomfortable psychological tension between earthly wealth and heavenly treasure. We're unpacking exactly what the source material tells us about our ultimate focus. It's not just some old proverb either. The commentary we're exploring today reveals a really profound spiritual analysis of human nature. It contrasts the heavy, burdened reality of our earthly realms with the bright, completely unburdened light of heavenly rewards. So let's get into it. So here's a thought for you. Why does where you keep your money dictate exactly where you keep your heart? This is the big thematic question that anchors our entire explainer today. It sets up this incredible tension between our tangible, earthly resources, the stuff we can physically touch, count, and lock away, and our intangible spiritual focus. The source materials suggest that these two realms are just inextricably linked. You literally cannot separate your wallet from your willpower, or your material possessions from your absolute deepest passions. To really wrap our heads around this, let's ground ourselves in the exact text we're analyzing today. This comes from Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 21. It reads, "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." It's poetic, it's super direct, and as we'll see, it is heavily layered with symbolic meaning. Now, a super common misconception when reading a passage like that is to think, wait, does God just hate my bank account? Well, the source commentary is crystal clear on this. No, absolutely not. It's not that wealth is inherently wrong or that having nice things is somehow a sin. Not at all. Rather, the text points out the very specific vulnerabilities of hoarding those things. It's about the profound danger of letting your possessions own you. Imagine waking up one day only to find you've become a prisoner trapped inside your own golden treasure chest. The commentary explains exactly why making earthly storage your ultimate goal is just a fundamentally flawed strategy for your heart. And that brings us to the three big threats outlined in the text. We've got thieves that steal, moths that destroy, and rust that corrupts. Now, back in the ancient world, way before we had Ring cameras, temperature-controlled vaults, or, professional pest control, these were just daily, unavoidable realities. They could literally wipe out a person's entire life savings overnight. But our source material dives a lot deeper than just ancient pest control. It explains that these literal physical problems carry massive, heavy symbolic weight for our spiritual lives. Let's actually decode these metaphors one by one. First up, we have the thief. Now, the commentary views this as far more than just a physical burglar breaking a window. It's seen as an active, creeping spiritual force. The thief symbolizes Satan, functioning almost like a shadowy claw, reaching in to steal your focus. But how does that actually happen? Well, the text points to distraction, a lack of focus, inconsistency, pride, and arrogance. You see, when you are hyper-focused on accumulating and protecting your earthly wealth, it can breed an arrogance that effectively robs you of your spiritual grounding. The wealth itself literally becomes the open door for this insidious theft. Then we have the moth. Unlike a thief who breaks in suddenly and violently, the moth represents a much quieter, insidious kind of destruction. The text explains that moths symbolize things like demons, diseases, confusion, and those daily distractions that just slowly eat away at what you've earned while you aren't looking. Think of it kind of like those forgotten monthly subscription fees that quietly bleed your bank account dry, but on a spiritual level. By the time you finally realize the damage is done, your heart isn't even drawn to God anymore. It's been entirely consumed. It's a really powerful metaphor for how slowly our priorities can decay if we just aren't paying attention. And all of this leads to a heavy, truly crushing psychological toll. Just imagine building massive wealth, but waking up every single day in a cold sweat, terrified of losing it. The commentary makes a really astute observation about the pure, exhausting anxiety of earthly hoarding. Because, let's face it, nobody loses things and feels happy about it. If your entire life's work is tied up in things that can be stolen, eaten, or rusted, your mind is constantly wrapped up in worry. Instead of that wealth providing freedom, you actually become a highly stressed security guard for your own vault, unable to ever just truly rest. Now, contrast that exhausting, constant anxiety with the alternative. On one side, we have earthly treasures. These are highly vulnerable to a guaranteed decay from thieves, moths, and rust. But on the other side, we have heavenly treasures. This is an everlasting reward with absolutely zero risk of loss or theft. The text promises that in heaven, there are no bugs to eat your investments, and there's no rust to corrupt your hard work. It's highlighting a dramatic night and day difference between a high-risk, guaranteed loss earthly strategy and a completely secure, eternal heavenly strategy. Okay, but what does this actually look like in practice? Because it's not just sitting around thinking spiritual thoughts all day. It means actively converting your resources right now in the physical world. It means taking your wealth and throwing it into a dynamic transformation. You use what you have to enrich the work of God, take care of your family, physically better somebody else's life, and make a tangible impact in your society. The source basically argues that when you transform your material wealth into generosity, you are actively converting vulnerable earthly currency into totally secure heavenly treasure. We really can't ignore the stakes involved here, though. The commentary gives us this stark warning: whatever draws your heart can draw your salvation away. That is the ultimate danger of becoming selfish and surrounding yourself only with possessions. A person might claim to serve God, but if their true affection, their daily attention, and their ultimate worries are entirely captured by their wealth, well, their heart isn't really there. When our daily attention is consumed by what we own, those possessions become a heavy anchor. They wrap around our hearts like golden chains, slowly but surely pulling our ultimate salvation away into the depths. Which leaves us with a final, unavoidable question drawn straight from the source text. Are you trying to serve both God and mammon? Mammon, in this context, representing wealth, property, or material gain. The commentary makes it absolutely 100% clear that trying to serve both is just impossible. You eventually have to choose where your true allegiance lies. So I'll leave you with this. What truly captures your heart today? Are you utilizing your resources to build an everlasting reward? Or are you just waking up anxious every single morning, guarding against the rust? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep